Hey, it's time for the Twice Removed podcast with Linda and Gina, where we talk about all things genealogy, including making connections with long-lost relatives while snooping in on our ancestors. Hey, it's good to know where you come from. So, hey, Linda, what is our topic today?
We're going to be talking about occupations of the past. A lot of the discoveries, of course, can come up in the census, you know, when you're going back and trying to see where people lived and who lived where and whatever. They also have their occupation.
I don't know about you, but I like to look at other people's too, because it's just kind of a neat thing. It's like, oh, I didn't know they had that back then, or wow, they're all kind of doing the same thing just to get over here if they're, you know, if they're from different countries and stuff.
Well, I'm not studying anything really too much more than what is my family background, but, you know, there's a lot of crafts persons, craftsmen mostly, coming over, and, you know, they would bring all of their talents with them. So, and
what are some of these talents? Is it different from like the German side to your Norwegian side? Did they all do the same thing? Did you see it like generation to generation?
Well, you know, occupations like farming is hopefully never going to stop, because then if it does, well, you know, bad. So there was a lot of farmers. That was Scandinavian side. My great-grandfather, when he came over from Germany, he was listed as a cabinet maker, which is something completely, you would think, oh, well, we still have cabinets. We don't have those kind of cabinets anymore. You know, like if you did kitchen cabinets, or like in Germany, they had these really big closets that they build out of wood, because they didn't have built-in closets. So you would build the entire thing yourself out of wood. And, you know, now if you want cabinets for your kitchen, you go to one of the home centers and you pick them out from a catalog, and they, you know, specifically maybe make them for you, you know, for the right sizing and everything, but they're not anything that great, you know. Laminate.
Plus, they're using a computer to generate it too.
Yeah,
and stick it up there. So
yeah, it's not glued together by hand, and
the dovetail and stuff.
All the
prettiness,
beautiful. Yeah,
the old pie shelves and stuff
that last forever. I mean, an example is we lived in an apartment in Studio City, and it was probably built in the 70s, early 70s, I think. And the cabinets and everything there were really old, and they had been painted like with the landlord special over and over and over again, you know? So one day they said, you know what, we're going to be remodeling the entire complex, and it's a building at a time. So when it came down to our building, like, okay, great. So we had to move out and stay in another place for like a couple weeks that they let us stay in on the complex. But anyway, we came back, and all the cabinets that they had installed that were new were all shorter, and they were all like made out of a super heavy particle board and all of that.
Oh my God.
You know, and laminate, and just you lost space because, you know, they would custom make them and to go back into the wall. So you had like a little bit more depth so you could put more stuff back there. So that's a complaint, you know.
Well, my great-grandfather on the Italian side sold fruit, and my grandfather on the great-grandfather on the Jewish side sold chickens, had a chicken business, chicken truck. So we were that food-oriented family, I guess, on those sides.
And did they, so like the chicken truck, they just went through the neighborhood and sold?
Yeah. Exactly. And he had a heart attack and passed away in his 50s. And my grandpa wanted that chicken truck, and his mother sold the chicken truck and the chicken business. And hopefully it's not like Zaki Farm or something like that, or, you know, what might have been. But he was very, very upset. To the day he died at 100, he was still talking about that
he wanted that chicken truck.
That. He did. He really did.
Well, you know, nowadays that would be something that nobody would want, probably. I mean, there'd be very few people who'd want chicken delivered, you know, unless it was cooked.
Yeah.
And food truck, that's like today's version of that. So that's obsolete.
Well, I don't know if you had them where you were from, but when we were younger here in California, we had a thing called the Helms truck from the Helms Bakery. Mm-hmm. And they would drive on your street, and you'd stop them kind of like an ice cream truck, but inside was pastries and cookies and some candies and all the stuff Helm's Bakery did. So that was kind of a neat thing and a treat, but they don't do stuff like that anymore, you know? So, and I know my great grandfather in his lemon thing, he'd go, especially lemons, because it's an Italian thing, but he'd go to downtown LA and get the fruit and bring it back home and make his daughters clean it and stuff. And then he'd go peddle it and stuff. And I was talking to my mom earlier about this because we had a story going around on the Italian side that one of her grandmother, when she was little, was asked to go help her dad pick figs on the fig farm in Italy. And so she went out there, and you know how everybody had aprons back then and stuff on. And so she was out there picking figs, and she saw a shiny piece of metal and started digging it and found coins. And the more she dug, the more she found gold coins. And so she put all these gold coins in her apron, and she came back in the house, and the mom was like, "Did you pick all the figs that you were supposed to pick?" And she said, "No, Mom, look." And she's like, "Where did you get that?" And she says, "Out there by the tree." And the more I dug, the more there were. So I guess the mom told people and stuff, and they all ran back there. And when they ran back there, the hole was covered up, and all there was left was like a little piece of a tin can. So, you know, there again, true story. I don't know, but, you know.
Why would her mother say anything?
Right? You know, right?
What's wrong with you, huh?
Yeah, everybody, you know, poor village, everybody comes share the wealth. And I asked her, I said, "Well, what'd they do with money?" You know me. I'm like, what'd they do with the money?
I need follow through here. What happened?
Yeah, I need, you know, evidence. I need some evidence. But who knows? But, you know, that they worked on the fig farm and that was it. You know, a very much so in the Italian realm of things, it was all food related is where they worked. It's either that or it's like a cobbler or a, you know, tailor or something like that. They usually tends to be the old timey jobs.
Yeah. One of my great grandfathers was a tailor too. I saw that on the records that they kept for the city.
And it amazes me that how many tailors and cobblers, you know, shoe people that there were that they let in the country. It was like, okay, maybe like the old Starbucks, there's a tailor and a cobbler on every corner instead of a Starbucks.
Well, people needed it. You know, that was something they kept their stuff for a really long time. So you would put new soles on your shoes. You wouldn't just toss them or the way that we throw things out nowadays.
And I also saw something called was it a Cooper? A Cooper? Yeah. And I was like, what's a Cooper? Do you know what a Cooper is?
They make barrels.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't look it up, but I saw that when I was doing my little research. I was like, oh, Cooper. That's interesting.
A Mini Cooper would be a small one.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, you know, junior.
They get better gas mileage.
Yeah. So that's one of those jobs, you know, it's like your name usually isn't cabinet maker, but Cooper is a name that, you know, people got for, you know, that's what they did as their profession. So that's what they went by.
Oh, so if his last name became Cooper because he was a barrel maker or whatever.
Yeah. And, you know, like Schneider in German is basically tailor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Miller is somebody who ran a mill and either for hops beer or flour. Yeah, for beer, to make beer. That's I wonder, I always thought it was interesting that there was that brand of beer. I was like, I wonder if it goes back that far and they were named that, or if it's just some guy named Miller that one day wanted to start that company.
Maybe.
Now I'm gonna have to do the research on that.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think I know on the can, and I don't drink, so I'm not the professor of beer cans. But I think there's like the yeast hops or the whatever the little sprigs. Yeah, the sprig of hops. So maybe it's tied in.
Well, they put it in there. So
did you? And I think we saw one was a pin setter, which is kind of cool. If people can remember or seen some old films about that. And that's the people that used to set up your bowling pins. there was no automatic bowling things and your balls didn't come back to you. Someone had to hand you your balls.
Hey, here's your balls.
Here's your balls.
Automatically shot through the floor.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. And then my favorite one, and I don't know what it is, and Linda will tell us, but they're knocker-uppers. And to me, I think it's an old-fashioned sperm bank, maybe, but I don't know for sure. What's a knocker-uppers?
It's somebody who is paid to wake you up by either tapping on your window, or if you were up higher, they would shoot peas at it.
I would like that job. I could do that job. I'm up early.
Yeah.
See, we've evolved. We've really evolved.
It really has. So these are all like basically obsolete-ish type jobs. You know, the switchboard operators is another thing too. There were a lot of those back in the day, especially in the bigger cities. I noticed when I was going through the New York records, especially, you know, switchboard operators.
Like Lily Tomlin, one ringy dingy.
Yeah. And, you know, we still have them, but, you know, the whole 411 service is basically done.
Yep.
So that's what they did. But you would still get somebody if you needed them. You know, you would have to probably sit there and wait for a while. I think there might just be several thousand in the country or so.
So, well, totally off topic. I got our phone bill for cell phone and we were looking at it and it just said 411 has gone up to like $4.99 a call to call 411. I'm like, well, yeah, you could just Google it for free or ask Siri. So
yeah, so that's why they can't afford to keep that department without really charging.
Yeah, but who would do it? Who would go? I guess an older person or a rich person that couldn't care less.
An older person that wants to order pizza for the very first time from their landline.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, and chimney sweep. If everybody remembers Mary Poppins, there was a chimney sweep on that, but Dick Van Dyke's character, but they still kind of do that. Probably with vacuums and hoses. But.
Well, that's a big, with drones and all that kind of thing now. But yeah, we used to see them quite often in Germany, and they would be on a bicycle and have like a ladder that hold onto, they'd hold a ladder over their shoulder.
Did they look like all full of soot and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen them several times like that. It's very good luck. People usually people send chimney sweep pictures to each other on New Year's Day. We would get a card every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's very interesting. I didn't know that. That's something meant good luck.
But it wasn't very good luck for them because a lot of them got very, very sick with cancer from that type of job.
I could imagine.
Like really bad. And died really young from it. And they would bring these little tiny boys to go down the chimney to clean because they could fit. And it's like, are you kidding me? So.
Well, you know how things always, like we've just been discussing, at one time, these were elaborate jobs and people's livings and stuff. And then, new technology came around, the computers and stuff. And now the big talk is AI. And it's kind of like I was told when I used to work at the cubicle from 9 to 5, the IT people were like, well, computers aren't going to take over the world because there's always got to be somebody to fix the computer. And I was like, well, that's a point. But not everybody in the world could be an IT person. And frankly, when I have ever called the IT person to fix their crappy computers, all they say was reboot. So that's a story for another time too. But
no, it's true though. But
it is and stuff. So probably with AI, I know that we're in the middle of strikes and stuff with creativity and entertainment. And, people can put in something and they'll write a script. The AI will write a script. But I haven't seen one, but I would just think it wouldn't capture the emotion or be able to. Maybe it can, but I think that even if it did, it'd be just an outline that would need to be tweaked, for what you're using it for. There might be parts. How good is it? Yeah, there might be parts, but I don't think it could take over what comes out of somebody's heart and soul. I just don't.
Yeah. I do like the idea of programming with words and having something made for you out of what you tell it to make.
Oh, like you mean like a dictation?
No, like if you go to an app and you can completely describe something exactly that you want, the way you want it to look. And it's like, I want it to be a wave that crests at 6 feet and is there's a surfer that is high upon it, and he's wearing red trunks and blah blah blah, and there's 2 girls at the beach holding drinks waiting for him to come to shore. If you can type that in and you see that exact same thing as a photo or a picture or whatever, that would be interesting.
Well, you could 3D print it. You just have to make the file for it.
No, this is me just typing it into a prompt and it shoots out the pictures. You should try it sometime. It's very interesting.
Oh, you mean they have that now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I have to spend more time online.
No, you don't. But that's something to look at. I mean, they have one in Canva. You can play with it. It's free. And the only stipulation, if you use it for anything commercial-wise, you have to say that it was made by AI.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've seen some stuff on Twitter and My Mistake and Instagram and stuff like that. And as cool as it might look, there's always something not right that from the naked eye.
Oh, yeah, like 7 fingers.
Yeah, the hand's not right, or this is muddled, or, and you can tell. And it's just like, you know what? It's not there yet. It's there. And it's good, but it's like it's not all that, because there's just that little something that your eye goes right to. For me, anyways, that it's just like, okay.
And it seems like they always want AI or something like that to take away the creativity from people and leave humans with the hard labor. Make the robots. Make the robots for the hard, dangerous labor, and allow people to be creative on their own. Because I'd rather have a painting that was made by somebody with great talent than me just talking it into a computer prompt, honestly. But,
Well, you know what? We're lazy. We get food service delivered. You get your groceries delivered. And it started with the pandemic and all that stuff, but we're still doing it. And all the stores now that are self-checkout. So people are losing their jobs on that. So that's a computer thing. I don't mind self-checkout, but,
I do when it's a big order. Forget it. Yeah, I don't work there. Maybe for small things, for small orders, like if it's like 10 items or less, like if it's the fast checkout lane, whatever, the express, right? I would do my own 10 items. That's fine. But when I have a big cart of stuff, no. No. And if I do it wrong and I walk out of there and don't pay for something, I could be in trouble for that. I don't want to set myself up. You can ask any lawyer and they'll say, don't do it. I've heard that. I don't know if any lawyer, but I've heard that. It's reasonable, though.
We were at one of those discounter chains on Black Friday, my friends and I, because we always do that and have been doing it since I was like 15 years old, and which I'm way past now. And we were standing in line because she was buying some jeans for her son. And the lines are long. It was during the crazy times before they had Black Friday the Tuesday prior. And 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 so we are standing in line waiting, and she gets up there and they're not ringing up. And they're on sale. And she's like, hey, they're Wrangler jeans and they're on sale for blah, blah, blah. And the person's looking, and the person looks at her and he goes, okay, wait a minute. So he goes away. There's this long line. So we're all standing there and everybody's looking at us, giving us these looks. And we're like, we don't know. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes go by. And the manager comes up and she's all, well, where did he go? We're like, we don't know. A break? He quit? I don't know. He never came back. So she had to we're telling her it's on sale. And the ad's sitting right there. So he could have looked. But yeah, we don't know what happened to him. And everybody just started cracking up because we're like, break? He quit. I don't know. We saw him, somewhere crying in a corner.
Well, that's what they'll see the customers doing too. If you have to do all the work.
Yeah, but when that happens, then it's like, okay, self-checkout. Okay, I'll self-checkout.
Yeah, but if the price isn't on there, then they have to.
And it's always hard to do produce at self-checkout, so you have to call someone over anyway. So
the cashiers have all of those numbers memorized.
I know, it's a mess. We're ridiculous. A mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, and then the one thing that you would think that people would still need, but they don't, are typists.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, but
we all know how to type a little bit. And
we're
so
still
really
typists.
need.
We're just on a computer, not the old-fashioned way. But I heard like Tom Hanks collects those typewriters and still uses them.
Typing pool, like a typing pool. You would just have these women sitting there typing in their pearls and their dresses.
Straight. So what modern day occupations today do you see that'll fade away over like the next 20 years? What do you think?
Podcast hosts.
Ah! Never.
I would say podcast hosts. Yep.
So you think they'll have like AI voices? Well, they already do.
See?
But you still have to type it in. Somebody's got to program it. Just like the AI, somebody's got to program it.
Well, that's what they do. They reprogram themselves. They are able to reprogram themselves and make themselves more intelligent. That's why it could get out of control, I guess. See, this goes with the cloning thing.
You know what else has gone to? Do you remember? I remember the full service, but the gas pump jockeys. Back then, they're gone. Now it's self-serve.
That's one big one right there. When did that end?
Checks your oil. 80s? Nobody washes your window. Probably, yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
it went away when they started having those really big gas stations with like the 20 pumps.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, when you used to have to, pay right there and pay in cash, whatever, and now you just,
write a check.
You just slide your card in or your phone, hold it up, and it beeps. You don't have to go in and pay for anything. But they have those fun little convenience stores if you need to sneak a ding dong and a Slurpee or something.
I'll never forget when I was in high school. I went and got gas. I'm still angry about this, but I would get my $10 worth of gas, have the check ready, and then the guy would pump the gas, hand it to him. Thanks. All right, see ya. And then next thing you know, I get home and my WDIZ Rock 100 bumper sticker was off of my bumper because the guy who pumped the gas took it off, because we lived like 40 miles away from where they had like the stickers and the bolt-ons and all the license plates back in the day. See, there's another thing you don't do. You guys didn't do that because you had 2 tags, right, on your cars all the time? Yeah, we only had the one in the back in Florida. So on the front, you could have like the radio station tag, and we would have bolt-ons where you'd go to wherever they are, like at Peaches or wherever. And, that's so that Peaches would make money, of course. And then they would have the bolt-on out in the parking lot, and the DJs would go out there and they would put the license plates on your cars in the front.
Well, first of all, shame on him for stealing your bumper sticker.
Mean.
Second of all, sheer genius that you could do that in the time it took to fill a tank. What car were you driving? A tuna boat? I mean, that was like so quick that he got that off.
I don't know. It was probably fresh. So, but yeah, it was a car from the 60s, late 60s or 70s, early 70s.
See, if we had Twitter, he'd be on Twitter. It'd be like, name this guy. He stole my sticker.
Yeah. So, see, there's so many jobs like that, though, that are gone.
But they always got to have somebody to do the engine repair work and stuff like that. So,
did you guys ever have bag boys here?
Yes.
That would take your groceries to the car for you?
Yes.
What happened to that?
They don't take them anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if
they'll still do it. Actually, they'll still do it at Costco. They've helped my mom with,
Oh, well, if you ask, I'm sure.
And stuff. Oh, yeah. It's just to ask and track down as they're, shagging carts and say, can you please put this in there? But
all I can say is that I wish that particular grocery store would spend some time cleaning their shopping carts.
They're gross.
Oh my gosh.
Grosser than like Walmart.
Yeah, these are like black plastic carts, and they're just so gross and cruddy and whatever. And I don't think they've ever been cleaned. So it's like you have to wash your groceries when you get home.
See, I appreciate Trader Joe's and Smart and Final because they still have like the wipes to use on the carts when you get them.
Yeah.
So
I don't usually have any problems with anybody else except that particular grocery store. And you don't get rain here much. So like in Florida, they would have the carts outside and they would get washed. Pretty much every afternoon.
They'd rust and they wouldn't roll. So you'd have to drag them down the aisle. Like,
well, there were usually some that were bad. Yeah. But at least they were clean.
Do you know what else is no longer around? They're kind of there, but they're not. It's not like they used to be. We're ushers in the movies.
Yeah.
You might see one or two come by and look and stuff, but not like they used to be.
Well, that's just people that are standing around that have to pay.
Yep.
And, movie theaters too. I mean, they kind of are like,
yeah, we're streaming. Why do we need that?
Well, people like the experience, but then it becomes more of like it's so expensive, you might as well go see like a live performance or something.
I'm so weird about it. I'll go when Fathom events will have like Willy Wonka, because I've never seen it on the big screen and stuff, and Singing in the Rain, all the old stuff that I love. And I'll run and pay, $15, $16, $18 to go see it on the big screen. And I notice I miss things and stuff like Willy Wonka. I noticed in his red sweater, it had holes in it. You never see that on the TV and stuff like that. But then it's like, I don't want to go see the new movies. I'll wait till it comes here and I can just buy it off TV or look at it on Amazon Prime or Netflix. So, it's I don't know. We're mixed up. That's for sure.
Well, there's so much stuff being put out that there's nothing that great that stands out that I have to see in the theater. I don't want to see any of these superhero movies, honestly. I don't.
Oh, me too. I'm over it. I'm so over it.
And that's something that you'd want to see on a big screen. And then like any kind of action films, always better on a big screen.
Well, yeah, just like the big musicals were.
But yeah, there's some that just look great because of the colors and whatever.
Oh, Alice in Wonderland.
Thank you. I couldn't think of Alice.
I was going to go to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but nobody should go see that one. That was horrible. No remakes there.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
There's another one coming out with Timothée Chalamet, but I think it's a prequel. So I can handle a prequel. I just can't handle the remake of that. You don't touch brilliance, even though it had so many flaws in it itself, but that's part of it.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for coming to our TED Talk on occupations of the past.
Well, I guess the takeaway from any of these obsolete occupations is you kind of need to see into the future and think, well, is that something that people are ever going to need again? After I learn how to do it and do it for the first 10 years, are they going to like phase me out? That's why accounting's good. You always have to have some kind of, somebody keeping track of things, and you can't just put it into a computer. You can't prepare a company for an audit by just having AI do it. That would be a catastrophe. Oh, please, no. So things like that just have to always be handled by a human. I can't think of anything else like banking. You wouldn't want that either. ATMs, sure. But I saw this one thing that may have been fake, but somebody had gotten a couple $100 out of an ATM, and they got a $100 bill and a fake counterfeit $1 million bill.
Oh, see, and who took the $1 million bill to put it in there?
It's not real.
I know, but it got in the ATM.
Yeah, I don't know if it was fake or not, but
I got a counterfeit 20 out of the bank, and we were eating lunch, and I went to pay for it, and they came up and they're like, kind of like nonchalant, and they're like, "We need to talk to you." It's like, well, what? So they go, this, we think that this is a counterfeit bill, and I'm like, what do you mean? I just got out of the ATM. I showed him my ATM receipt and stuff, and he goes, yeah, I know, and stuff, but they let us go with the $20 cheaper because he believed us. And I went to the bank, and they're like, sure enough. And they're like, where'd you get it? And I'm like, oh, the bank over by the racetrack. And they said, oh, yeah. So they called the racetrack and the racetrack bank over there by the racetrack. And they said, yeah, that happens quite a bit. I'm like, don't you run them through something that shows that they're fake? But it was good. And so, they traded it in. They gave me a new 20, which was nice. But I was like, wow, you couldn't tell. But I guess you could.
Wow. Was that before they started doing the strip on?
Right before. It was like they're phasing them out. That was still there, but yeah,
I still have old money somewhere.
Yeah, we see it. I help my mom at the church count money sometimes, and you still see that.
One of the biggest things that is obsolete, that's not an occupation, but many years ago, Deutschmark went away, and now it's just euro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
And I still have some Deutschmark. I'm happy to keep it.
I still want to be a knocker-upper.
Well, you can.
But I think
you should do that job.
I think it should be called a waker upper.
Well, yeah, because you know what we've done to that word.
Yeah, well, yeah. It'd be a sperm bank. Knocker uppers. How may I help you?
Hey.
I'd like to make a deposit, please.
Well, I've got a wake-up call for you. Not here.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And your little dog, too.
And yeah.
Well, I guess we can wrap on that. And if you guys have any other cool, different, strange, whatever occupations that you've noticed in your family trees and stuff, hit us up at twiceremoved.net and let us know, because we want to hear about them. And maybe we'll feature you on an upcoming episode, because we can talk about jobs, because they'll be, more exposed.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll even make a video.
There we go. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Can I narrate it?
Sure.
Oh, cool. There we go. I'm going to narrate the knocker upper one.
We already did that one.
Foiled again.
You did pin setter.
I did do pin setter. Let me set your pins up. At first I thought it was a hair person, but pin curls, set your pins.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, bowling. Strike. All right, you take it easy, and we'll catch you guys on the next time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
The Twice Removed podcast is produced by Linda Anderson and Gina Glass. All opinions expressed are of our own and of our guests. For more information and upcoming guests, please visit our website, twiceremoved.net.